Welcome to the video on Chapter 5, A Crazy Bus Driver Losing His Way That He Knew Too Well, from Miss MacIntosh, My Darling by Marguerite Young.
If you felt in chapters 3 and 4 that you had moved away from the bus and deep into Vera's past, you were right. That is how this novel works. The bus is always there, waiting, while Vera's memory does its long and spiraling work. And now, in chapter 5, we return to it. Night has fallen, the roads are washed out, and Moses Honecker, bus driver, is holding forth. Prepare yourself. Moses has a lot to say. It is nighttime on the bus. Moses Honecker is driving through flooded, broken roads in the dark. No stars, no signposts, the landscape dissolved into rain and mist. He is drinking. He is talking. To himself, to the old doctor, to whoever will listen. He refuses to cut his hair. This is the chapter's great fixed point. Moses' hair, which has never been cut, which has grown to enormous proportions, which he treats as his last and most personal possession. He will not let anyone touch it. Not the barber, not the Democrats, not anyone. He rails against the Democrats and the New Deal, against FDR, against what he sees as the government's steady encroachment on his freedom. He is a lifelong Republican. He has never voted, he never has time, but his politics are ferocious. He talks about the old doctor, Justice O'Leary, who sits among the passengers in a state of advanced dementia, imagining he is still making house calls, still delivering babies, his rusted forceps and broken stethoscope still tools of a living practice. Moses alternates between mockery and a kind of rough tenderness toward him. And then, quietly, the chapter asks a question it does not answer. Is Moses actually driving this bus, or is he dreaming it? Is any of this happening? Vera watches all of this with her characteristic mixture of empathy and detachment. She is the observer, the recorder, the consciousness through which we receive everything, but she does not intervene. She listens to Moses and understands, on some level, that he is caught in the same kind of loop she is, a man driving a road he knows too well, going somewhere he may never arrive, in a landscape that has stopped making sense. There is a line Young gives us early in the chapter, a crazy bus driver losing his way that he knew too well. Sit with that. You can know a road so well that you lose it, know it so well that it stops being a road and becomes something else entirely, a groove worn into habit, a dream of motion without destination. This is Vera's condition too. She has been circling Miss MacIntosh's absence for so long that the circling has become its own kind of journey. Moses is her mirror in this chapter, whether he knows it or not. The hair needs its own explanation, because Young gives it so much weight, and it might otherwise seem merely eccentric. Moses has never cut his hair. It has grown to extraordinary length, and in his telling, has taken on a life of its own, full of burning eyes like the eyes of Argus, twisting and growing like something alive. He talks about it the way other men talk about their souls. It is his only virtue, his angel, the one thing about himself that no one has managed to take from him. This sounds strange until you understand the context. Moses is a man who feels that everything else has been stripped away. His country is declining, the government is encroaching, the roads are washed out, the old certainties are gone. His hair is the last thing that is purely, irreducibly his. No barber, no government, no tax on it. There is a long tradition across many cultures of hair carrying the self, its strength, its identity, its spiritual power. The biblical Samson is the most famous example. His hair was the source of his power, and when it was cut, he was undone. Moses, and Young chose this name deliberately, is a version of that story. A prophet figure driving through the wilderness, his identity intact in his uncut hair, raging against the forces that would diminish him. The novel also makes a quietly, darkly comic point. Hair and nails do not actually continue to grow after death. It only looks that way. The skin dehydrates and pulls back. If Moses is, as the chapter hints, possibly dead or dreaming rather than truly driving, his hair's continued growth is itself a kind of illusion. The last thing he believes is real might not be real either. Justice O'Leary has been on this bus since chapter 1, and now we understand him better. He was once a country doctor who made house calls, who delivered babies, who was a figure of authority and care in his community. Now he is old and lost, his mind running on rails that no longer connect to the present world. He thinks he is still practicing. He sees patients who are not there. His instruments are rusted, his stethoscope broken. Moses is not entirely wrong to mock him, but watch how Young holds both things at once. The doctor is deluded, yes, but his delusion is that he is still helping people, still bringing life into the world. Of all the delusions available to a person, this one has a certain dignity. He is not retreated into pleasure or comfort or oblivion. He is retreated into service, even if the service is imaginary. The pregnant women he tends, his patients, are ghosts. Their cries and their suffering are echoes of births that may never happen, futures that may never arrive. Young is showing us a world in which the business of bringing new life into being has become spectral, uncertain, haunted. Chapter 5 does something the earlier chapters have gestured toward, but not said outright. It openly questions whether Moses is actually driving the bus or dreaming the whole thing from his four-poster bed. Young never resolves this. She is not going to. The bus is real, and the bus is a dream, and the bus is a passage between worlds, and all of these are true simultaneously. Moses himself wonders if he has died and is continuing out of habit, driving the same road because he doesn't know how to stop. This is not a puzzle you need to solve. It is a condition you need to inhabit. The novel is asking you to hold uncertainty the way its characters hold it, not as a problem to be fixed, but as the weather you're moving through. Moses' tirades against the Democrats and the New Deal might seem like local color, but they are doing something more precise. Young is placing us in a specific American moment, the 1930s and 40s, the era of FDR, when the question of what the government owed its citizens was being fought over furiously. Moses represents one side of that argument, the man who sees government help as government control, who feels the state reaching into his last freedoms and taxing even his hair. You do not have to agree with Moses to understand him. Young doesn't ask you to agree. She asks you to feel the genuine fear underneath the bluster. The fear of a man who has watched his country change in ways he didn't choose, who has no power over any of it, and who has found the one thing, his hair, his body, his self, that he can still refuse to surrender. That fear is real. It has not gone away. Look around. Chapter 5 is wild and funny and dark and a little operatic, with Moses raging about his hair and his politics in the rainy dark, while an old doctor tends to invisible patients. It can feel like a departure from the intimacy of Vera's grief in earlier chapters. But here is the thread. Vera is watching a man who, like her, has refused to let go of something. Moses will not cut his hair. Vera will not give up on Miss MacIntosh. Both of them are holding on to the one thing that still feels like themselves, in a landscape that has done its best to wash everything away. They are more alike than either of them knows. This bus is exactly the right place for both of them.
Now we transition to The Wheel and the Spokes, which explores the 11 pillars of Marguerite Young's philosophy in Miss MacIntosh, My Darling. The first pillar is the plural self. The bus driver is multiple. The driver of a real bus, a man in a four-poster bed, his mother's baby, and more. The text insists on the simultaneity of these identities, highlighting that the self is always already plural and irresolvable. The second pillar is illusion as primary. The chapter is committed to the undecidability of reality. The bus, the bed, the doctor's imaginary patients are held with equal weight. They are the only reality available, moving through a landscape that has stopped making sense. The third pillar is grief as permanent weather. The incessant rain is ontological, symbolizing grief that never resolves. The losses, including the doctor's patients and the vanished landmarks, accumulate without resolution, much like Moses' political grief. The fourth pillar is the witness. The narrator is a pure witness, making minimal interventions. The prose refuses to simplify the bus driver's rants or terror. The witness position is morally costly, holding the difficult realities as they are without resolving them into acceptable form. The fifth pillar is recursive construction. The chapter's structure involves the bus driver circling back repeatedly to his hair, the doctor, his mother, and the same broken landmarks. This cycling is not a failure of navigation, but the structural condition of the journey. The detour is the road. The sixth pillar is the ethics of incompletion. The chapter's sentences, the bus driver's oath, and the unborn passenger all embody structural incompletion. To conclude them cleanly would be dishonest to the reality they describe. The seventh pillar is the ontology of the marginal. Every figure exists at the edge of categories, alive or dead, real or imaginary, present or not yet born. This marginal position reveals the constructed and arbitrary nature of central categories. The eighth pillar is sedimentary time. The past does not recede. It presses upward, accumulating layer on layer. The bus driver's hair and the vanished orchards, still visible through the present landscape, illustrate this concept literally. The ninth pillar is language as construction. The bus driver's language aggressively self-locates, showing that all language speaks from a position. The text's own language piles up contradictory metaphors, highlighting the act of metaphor making itself. The 10th pillar is immanent transcendence, the spiritual center of the chapter. The sacred is located in the mundane, the gray bus, the drunken driver, and the matted hair. The sacred is harnessed to the everyday, not above it. The final pillar is the crossing point. The bus driver is the literal point where time crosses itself, seeing forward by looking in the rearview mirror. The chapter closes with a hallucinatory dawn, an illumination that is already passing.